I'm never getting out of here, am I?
Nope.
I'll never see my parents or my friends again.
Nope.
I'll never take a walk in the rain or sink my toes in the sand.
No and no. Well, you and I might...
We might get out one day.
Yeah, they can't keep us in here forever.
Oh, yes, they can.
While I agree, the chances of us ever being
Hello
released
everyone,
are terribly
Diston
small.
here.
The least we can do is let her maintain
So there's been
the
quite a bit
illusion
of
that we
hype
know.
about the Monsters vs.
Yeah,
Aliens
what he said.
movie around on the
You
Giantess
never know what the
forums.
future might bring.
And the other day I
I
was
know
in
what
my
it'll
local
bring.
EB
It'll bring...
and I found
Good news,
Monsters vs.
Monsters.
Aliens, the DS
You're
game.
getting out of here.
And so
Our
I thought I'd pick it up and give it a try.
Told you.
And
There
I
is
was
one
pleasantly
small thing,
surprised because
One small
most
thing?
movie
All you have
games
to do is
are
fight
quite
off
horrible.
alien invasion.
But this one was actually pretty
I
good.
don't know about this.
So I thought I'd make a video and tell you what I liked and what I didn't like about it. So what we're seeing here is a sort of quick time event that they call Ginormica's Feat of Strength. I'm not entirely sure why they put that in there, because I mean, it's used a bunch of times in the first level, which is like the training ground, but then it's only used once or twice throughout the rest of the game, so I'm not really sure what the point of that was. So even though the game has full 3D graphics, it really is a traditional 2D platformer. Ginormica's levels in particular are very standard platforming because she can't crawl up walls like Bob or the Missing Link. I think the graphics are quite nice, and I like how they make use of the 3D rendered environment. For instance, you just saw the street turning into the background there. And coming up, there's a little section on the railroad. It looks pretty. So here's the second feat of strength in this level, and I don't think there's another one until the end of the game. This one you basically just have to touch the green buttons from side to side until she throws the rock off. So again, it's not used very often, and I'm not sure why they put that in there. I know, maybe just to break up the action in this particular level, but they make a whole point of going over it in the training stage, and I'm not sure that was entirely necessary considering how much it's used. There's me failing at dodging trains. So the controls are pretty basic, pretty intuitive if you're used to playing games. You've got your basic attack, jump, special move. Like Ginormica's is a dash. There's a few moves you can pull off. You can do an uppercut, a fly kick, slam attack. I was actually kind of disappointed that I didn't get to battle the giant mech thing that comes at the beginning of the movie as Ginormica. Because that might have been a slightly more interesting use for the feat of strength thing. Kind of like a reimagining of the giant Robotnik boss in Sonic 3. Except every now and again it'd try and like swallow her up and she'd have to like force it back open. While all the civilian cars are like driving past. So each section of the game is laid out in a number of acts. And basically each act follows one of the four main characters. So you go from Ginormica to Bob to the Missing Link and then Dr. Cockroach. I have to say, Dr. Cockroach is probably
What is that?
like one of my favorite
I'm in
parts of
way
the
over my
game because
head here.
his stuff are all like little puzzles,
Oh no,
which
it's headed
is
for the
both
bridge.
cool and makes sense because
those
he's
people are
like
in
the mad
trouble.
scientist, so
I have to
he
get
has to
over there and help
always
them and do it
like
fast.
open a door or
I wonder.
turn off a big giant laser or something. And it's a nice change of pace.
This should do the trick. Off I go.
So here we have Ginormica's skate levels, and this is definitely one of the most disappointing parts of the game, only because you have to struggle with these stupid stylus controls. Basically, if you move her face onto one of these arrows, she moves extremely quickly to the left or right. But if she's anywhere in the middle, she moves ever so slightly. I guess they were trying to go for a sort of sensitive analog control, but in my opinion it really doesn't work very well, and I have no idea why they decided to not let you use the D-pad on this level. I mean, okay, you have the stylus there as an option if you want to do that, but come on. Like, all they need to do is have the D-pad in this level and I wouldn't have to be struggling with the controls. So one last thing, you might have noticed a couple of spots in the video where the frame rate drops a bit. This was recorded through emulation on my PC, but when I was playing it on my actual DS, there was no frame rate issues at all. Or at least I didn't notice any. So if you are thinking about getting this game, don't worry about that. Overall, the game's okay. It's not fantastic, but it's definitely not the worst movie game I've ever played. And if you want to play a game that has a giantess as a featuring character, you could do a lot worse. So I might go and check this out on either the Wii or the 360 as well. And I'll get back to you people if there's anything interesting and giantess related about it. I suspect that the 360/Wii version will be better, but I'll give it a rental and see what happens.
And I think I know where to find a really bright one. Hey you! Giant scary robot! Down here! I sure hope I know what I'm doing.